G'day guys, today I want to share with you our DIY kitchen stool. Dave has mainly built this and he's done an awesome job and Sophie absolutely loves it. So let's get into it. When we're at IKEA we bought the Beckfam stool. So this is a longer step-by-step tutorial on how we made the kitchen toddler learning stool. First up, I opened up the packaging, pulled everything out. What I like to do is separate the screws and smaller items into a bowl just to avoid losing them. First, Dave attached the piece from one side to go across to the other. Now it's important to make sure that the wood is facing the right way so that the steps sit well. He continued to do that with all 4 pieces of timber that are joining one side to the other. It was then he discovered this black piece of plastic that IKEA had given him was actually an extension to the Allen key to make it easier screwing in the screws. I added a piece of dowel to the bottom step, and then I attached that before Dave completed the other side. Dave tightened every screw. These are the screws and bolts we were left with before putting on this safety measure so that the bottom step doesn't lift up. He used an electric drill to do this. So then the stool was made. We went over to the bench and measured up the height of the bench to the top of the stool. This is Dave's sheet on working out what size planks of wood he's going to require to make it. In the description box below, I'm going to leave you clear details so you can easily follow that yourself. Like I said, this is made for our kitchen bench though. Here are the items Dave used to create it. A spirit level, saw box, a handsaw, sticky tape, set square, pencil, tape measure, drill, pen, and also a CD. So for the side rail, you'll need 2 longer pieces of wood, 40mm times 380mm. Now that measurement there depended on our bench height, and then for the 2 pieces across, they're 60mm wide and 155mm in length. So the big pro tip here Dave gave was that he actually set out the pieces of wood on the stool to work out exactly what the gap would be depending on where he was going to fix them. Dave is not a carpenter, so this is how he worked out where to put the screws. He measured the width of the diameter and used 2 diagonal lines, then a straight line between where the 2 intersect. So you then got 2 boxes. He did 2 diagonal lines in each box, and the center is where the screw goes. That's why he's done a circle there, rather than measuring with a ruler. He just found this to be more accurate for him. Using a small vise on his workbench, he then drilled holes in the timber at each section at the center of each cross. Dave said it's really important that you pre-drill it first, or otherwise you'll split the timber. Another pro tip, he used a CD over the center of where the hole needed to go so that when he's drilling he could tell if he was going off center. It works like a mirror. Using the electric drill, he then drilled in each screw and that side rail. The first one was complete. Here you can see some sticky tape. Dave just used the sticky tape to stop it from moving. He then repeated the same on the other side. Like I've said, the instructions are in the description box below if you'd like to have a look. Dave then sat the 2 side rails on top of the stool and just put the spirit level on top so they wouldn't fall, and measured the front rail side. He then used the handsaw inside a guiding box. The front rail is 60mm in width and 310mm in length, and you require 2 of those. Dave then using a 2cm piece of dowel which attaches to the back of the learning stool.
So after cutting, I'm partially inserting the screws just so it's a little bit easier to line up those rails. I've put the rails in the vise in order to be able to hold it all together.
To attach the side rails to the front rail, Dave used pilot holes. He then screwed in the screws by hand. He used a short screw and a long screw. The short screw is 40mm and the longer screw is 60mm. And then he used the hand drill to drill in just until it was poking out the other side. He did the same to every single one. Then it's easy to place the side rail to the back rail because Dave's already drilled the pilot holes. And then he drilled each screw in. It doesn't matter how deep the screw's gone in, as you can see here. Some are flush with the timber and some aren't. We're going to fill with timber filler anyway, so it doesn't matter. So it's 3/4 done. Next he's just got to add in the dowel, which is 2 centimeters in diameter and 310 millimeters in length. Then he drilled a hole in each end of the timber. He used 2 40mm screws to attach the dowel to the learning stool. He drilled until the screw was just poking out the other end, completed the same on the other end before adding the dowel in the center. And the top part is done. Next, Dave attached the top part to the top of the stool. So as you know, we hadn't actually attached that to the IKEA stool just yet. That's the very last thing you do. Using the IKEA tool that we were given, he's now screwing these screws in so it's all attached. Sophie decided to help out a little bit. And then it was done. We all did a little bit of sanding and then it was ready to use in the kitchen. We didn't actually paint it straight away. Sophie knew what to do straight away and she was so excited to be at bench height.
Wow! Your very own stool.
What do you think, Soph? Soph? Then we let Soph play with it, so we didn't worry about painting it straight away. When we got some more time, we used timber filler to cover the screw holes, and then we sanded it all back before applying the primer and paint that we used. We used it in a spray can. Before beginning to paint, we removed all the excess timber shavings using a cloth. Dave did 3 coats of the prime and paint. Of course, you could keep it the same colour. You don't need to paint it at all if you don't want to. Thanks heaps for watching, guys. As you can imagine, it took a lot of work creating it, filming it and editing it. So please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment below if you can. Thanks heaps for watching, guys. Bye. Is that how it goes, so?
You're up! I'm king of the world!